It was a special night in Birmingham that ended in a W for the good guys, thanks to an offensive explosion from an Alabama native. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio. You can also follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. That way you're interacting with us, and hit that notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals by calling 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. A historic night for the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants, who were featured in Thursday night's game at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. From pregame festivities to the tributes to the late, great Willie Mays, information about the history of the field readily available throughout the broadcast. Negro League Baseball Museum President Bob Kendrick pouring out knowledge during the telecast, giving us stories for a couple of innings. It kind of felt like an exhibition game, really, didn't it? Because I feel like the game itself was kind of in the background of what was being broadcast and talked about. Everything that we saw, it kind of felt like, the game was just kind of in the background. And there was more of more about what the night was about and what it was representing, which I had no problems with. It was pretty cool. But it almost felt like the game didn't count, right? But this one did. And the Cardinals were the ones who came up with the 6-5 win. Some big nights offensively from Brendan Donovan and Alec Burleson. The Alabama boy himself, Brendan Donovan, born in Germany, yes, but grew up in Enterprise, Alabama, went to the University of South Alabama as a proud Jaguar, where he spent 3 seasons, hit .311 in college in his career before getting scooped up by the Cardinals in the 7th round of the 2018 MLB draft. And here he was on this extremely special night in Birmingham, which is about 3 hours away from where he grew up, playing on the oldest existing professional baseball park in the United States. And the dude lit it up. Cards strike first. They're the home team, so they get the leadoff walk to Mason Lynn. Single by Burley, who genuinely hit the ball too hard, which is why it was a single and not a double. Biscuits also had a strong night. Burley looked good. Goldie lines out the shortstop. Almost took the shortstop's head off, though, on that play. Sun was very tough early on. Gorman hits one of those high, majestic fly balls that sometimes just carry out of the ballpark. It didn't happen on that at bat, but it was easily deep enough to score a win, making it 1-0. It's the first of 2 sac flies for Gorman on the night, by the way. And that brought on Donnie, who smokes a 1-1 pitch over the wall in right field to make it 3-0. I had somebody ask me, did we have a StatCast information on the Donovan home run that somebody thought it went 500? No, it did not go 500 feet. No, because it's an old ballpark, so they don't have all that stuff set up there to give you the StatCast information. But just know that it was a line shot, it was a rocket, and it went far enough for a home run, all right? So that was nice to see. Lee didn't last all that long, though. Top of the 3rd, Cardinals starter Andre Pallante, he ends up, and he pitched, okay, first couple of innings, I feel like Pallante looked pretty good, all right? And he gets himself into a little bit of trouble. He gives up singles, couple of them, actually. One with 1 out to Elliot Ramos. No, 2 singles. Then Elliot Ramos comes up, and he's the one who hits the home run over the right field wall, it was a hanging breaking ball. It was right over the heart of the plate. Bad pitch. We understand. I honestly thought it was a simple pop-up to right field. Did anybody else feel that way? I I did not think that ball was going to carry out, but it just kept going and going and going. Falls over the wall behind Alec Burleson, makes it 3-3. I mean, I had a hell of a time trying to figure out what balls were leaving the yard and which ones were just going to be flyouts in this one. I mean, nobody else homers in this game, but I thought Mason wins. Double in the bottom of the third. I thought that was going to be gone. Jorge Soler, I thought his was going to be like 600 feet into left center field. That didn't make it out of the ballpark. So there was a couple other ones. They looked good off the bat. I thought they were going to carry out, and it just didn't happen. So it was tough for me to judge what was going on from TV. But the Mason win double in the bottom of the third inning, that was huge. Obviously, he gets a double. Burley singles again. Goldie whiffs, but Gorman with another sac fly deep into the outfield. Both sac flies. He was just off. Perhaps he's getting closer to getting back to hammering home runs again. The batting average now right at the Mendoza line of 200. Don't want to fall below that. Time to start swinging it. That brought up Donnie again and rips another one to deep right, but it hits the wall for a double. Burley goes over to third, and he ends up scoring on a wild pitch, makes it 5-3. Top of five, Burley gets hit by a pitch. Goldie singles. Gorman whiffs this time. And with 2 outs, Donnie Baseball comes through again, lacing a single to center field, makes it 6-3. Just a huge night for Brendan Donovan. And at this point, things feel pretty comfortable in the game. But remember, this is the Cardinals. And the comfy life is not for them in 2024, apparently. They don't like it. Everything's got to be tight games. It's got to be drama. Top of 6, Pallante gives up a double and a walk, so Ali goes to the pen. He summons Andrew Kittredge, who gives up back-to-back singles, then a sac fly. Both runs are charged to Pallante, not to Kitt. And we've got a 6-5 ball game. So here we go. Tied again. The bullpen stays strong, though. John King allows a hit, but gets his 2 guys. You get rookie Adam Kloffenstein, makes his major league debut at Rickwood Field. Are you kidding me? That's something he's never going to forget. He gets a shutout inning. And then Elsley, again, makes us sweat a little bit, gets that leadoff walk, which I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like watching through my eyes, like through my hands. I'm like, oh my gosh. But then a fly out, then a strikeout, and he gives up a single, but then gets the punchy to end it, grabs his league-leading 25th save of the season. Pallante ends up getting the win in this one. Goes to 3-3 on the year. Cards are back to the 500 mark at 37-37. This is the Cardinals' 5th consecutive game decided by 1 run. They've gone 3-2 in those games. They're 13-11 in 1-run games this season. It's exhausting. It's exhausting watching this ball club. And a lot of the times it's them giving up the lead. It's not them like making this phenomenal comeback and you're like, yeah. No, you're usually up in these games and then you're like, dude, why can't we just have a comfortable lead this year? It's frustrating. And we still got over 3 months of the season to go. So, whew. I got my takeaways from Thursday's game next. Was Pallante better than his numbers say? I'll talk about that next. This is Locked On Cardinals. Here on Locked On Cardinals, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's in the offseason, the draft, spring training, playoffs. It's year-round. It never stops. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Yeah, just because tax season is over, it doesn't mean the IRS is going to stop coming after you for unfiled taxes. The IRS, they can garnish your wages, they can levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. So don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. I'm somebody who's got some complicated tax things going on because I have so many different broadcasting jobs. So it gets a little complicated. And if you have a situation like that, why are you not with the experts who have over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau? Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. So it's whether you owe taxes, whether you have complicated matters that require tax planning like myself, or you finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing when you get those big wins. Call 1-800-549-1000, or you can visit tnusa.com/lockedon. You can check out the link in this episode's description, which is down below, and of course in the show notes as well. Why wait? Why wait and keep stressing over this? Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals by calling 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. Life insurance is an important safety net for you and your family. The last thing you want is for something to happen to you or a loved one and then not be prepared, not have all your ducks in a row, as they say, when something bad happens. So Policygenius is here for you. They're the country's leading online insurance marketplace, and it makes choosing the right policy for your family easy, which is great, and quick because your time is precious. And that's why Policygenius made sure that they are convenient and time-saving. They want to get you in, get you out, and get you on your way with what you need. They help you easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. Their award-winning agents can even walk you through the process step by step. I'm somebody who likes talking to real people, and I need a guide from time to time when it's things I'm not comfortable with. Policygenius has got you covered there as well. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. And Policygenius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance because they're not getting any kickbacks for it. They've got thousands of five-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs, and you can too. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn down the volume because of all the shouting? Then make that switch to Locked On Sports today, which is a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. It brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, and it's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, so it's available to you when you're ready. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Remember, you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Cardinals. They'll be back at Busch Stadium beginning on Saturday as they continue the series with the Giants. So some takeaways from Thursday's game. First off, I mean, what a cool event. What a cool event, right? I mean, the night was just, it was beautiful. No weather issues, had a beautiful sunset. Like, if you're looking on YouTube right now, I mean, just look at this shot right here with the clouds and the lights and everything. It's just, it was awesome. And I know the Field of Dreams game, specifically the first one between the White Sox and the Yankees, was a pretty magical experience. You know, you had Kevin Costner out there on the field, guys coming in from the corn. I mean, that was amazing. But they pointed this out on the broadcast as well, that was Hollywood make-believe stuff. You know, what was being discussed and talked about on Thursday, real-life history, things that really happened at that field. And it was about some of the greatest players to ever put on a uniform. It was almost like a history lesson with just the baseball game thrown in for fun, you know? Like back in school, remember when you would have like a substitute teacher and they would come in and they would talk about something, but then they'd be like, all right, we're going to put in this video for the rest of it. That's kind of what it was. It was like a history lesson with a little video going on in the background that just so happened to be a game between the Cardinals and the Giants. Listening to Bob Kendrick tell his stories during those couple of innings were awesome. He even brought up the fact that you know, he's been on MLB The Show, and they've got the Negro League storylines stuff on the show. They've been doing that the last couple of years. So I was already familiar with Bob Kendrick and his storytelling ability, but dude, that guy is something else. My brother lives in Kansas City, so I'm gonna have to, when I go out there and visit him next time, I got to get over to the to the Negro League Hall of Fame. I got to meet Bob Kendrick, dude. This guy is awesome. I got to shake that man's hand. Game wise, how appropriate was it that the guy from Alabama would be the one to shine at Rickwood? What a night for Brendan Donovan, who's been on a tear. You know, obviously he had the big night on Thursday, 3 for 4, the home run, 3 RBIs, looked awesome. Hitting 345 over his last 7 games. Those 3 RBIs on Thursday gives him 36 on the season, which now ties him with Nolan Gorman, who also knocked in 2 with those sac flies, for the most RBIs on the team. Who saw that coming? Like, we're coming to the end of June here. Who would have thought that Brendan Donovan would be tied for the lead in RBIs? Not me. Not me. Andre Pallante's appearance on Thursday. Final line for Andre. 5 1/3 innings, 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, and a home run. That's pretty gross. That's not a great line. Like when you just look at the numbers. But for me, for most of the game, outside of the 3-run homer, which was a terrible pitch, hanging breaking ball, which snuck over the wall and right, it didn't seem to me like he was in all that much trouble throughout the game. Although, again, you look at the line and it seems like there was a lot going on, but I didn't feel like he was in that much trouble. Perhaps I was distracted by everything else going on around the game and I just didn't notice it as much. But to me, it just didn't feel like he pitched that bad. But in the end, you're like, you see the numbers, you're like, oh, I guess he wasn't all that great. You know, he's had the 2 really good games against the Reds, against the Rockies, but versus the Astros, it was pretty bad. Cubs, he only lasts 3 1/3 innings. And now you've got subpar game against the Giants. Steven Matz's back is ailing. Lance Lynn is barely giving you 5 innings when he throws these days. So the Cardinals really need to take a look at solidifying the back of this rotation sooner rather than later. Because I don't know how you can expect Lynn, Pallante, or Matz to all of a sudden just magically be good out of nowhere. I mean, you got to start thinking as you're moving forward that this is just who these guys are. Probably need an upgrade. The bullpen technically did not give up any runs on Thursday. Everything was charged to Pallante, but you're kind of starting to see the cracks in the Trinity more and more as these guys wear down here in the first half. Helsley still getting the saves, 25 of them. He's on a roll, but he's been dealing with a lot of stressful innings over the last couple of weeks. There's constantly people on the base paths. They have not been easy 1, 2, 3, we're in, we're out type of saves. You know, he's had to work hard to nail these down. Andrew Kittredge in June is 1-1 with a 3.27 ERA and 10 appearances, which not horrible by any means, but he's allowed 6 runs, 4 of them earned, and 10 hits in 11 innings. In May, he had a 5.73 ERA and 12 appearances. You know, this is his first full year after Tommy John, so might be wearing down a little bit. This is where losing Keenan Middleton was a big deal because he was the other veteran presence that could help alleviate some of this that Andrew Kittredge has had to shoulder because he's another guy from the right side who could give you some help in those high leverage innings. Jojo Romero did not appear on Thursday, but in June he's made 7 appearances, 1-1. The ERA at 7.50, 6 runs, 5 earned, 6 hits, 3 of them are home runs, and that's in just 6 innings for the month of June. April and May, he was awesome. Kittredge was awesome in April. So perhaps JoJo is wearing down as well. You can't really blame them. All 3 of them have been used a lot. So just some food for thought. If the Cardinals need another starter, it wouldn't hurt to, throw in a little bullpen help as well. All the credit in the world to John King, Ryan Fernandez, Kyle Leahy's looked really good. Chris Roycroft had a couple of rocky situations for him, but you see the potential. You definitely see the potential. It's his birthday today, by the way. Happy birthday to Roycroft. But, these other pieces have come in and they've done great, probably better than expected, but we don't know what Giovanni Gallegos is going to give you when he returns. I have no idea. I'm going to expect the worst because it's not like he was amazing in his rehab assignments with Memphis. Like he would have a couple of good games and then he would get killed. So I don't know what you're going to get out of him. Is Riley O'Brien coming back at some point? Is he going to be able to help? So wouldn't hurt to add another veteran arm to the bullpen is all I'm saying. All I'm saying. I don't want to get into the end of July and August and these guys are dead and we got nothing left and we're out of juice when we're trying to make that final playoff push. So that's just my thoughts on that. We're going to jump into some fan feedback about the game at Rickwood and how it made other people feel. We'll do that next year for you on Locked On Cardinals. Remember the first day of school. Let's journey back together. or your first day at a new job, if that makes things easier for you, and you'd be wearing like this snappy, brand new outfit that you had picked out so you look and feel your best when you walk through those doors for the first time. Did you know you could still get that instant confidence boost again with our friends at Stitch Fix? And get this. This is going to make you feel real cool. Stitch Fix gives you a stylist. You get a stylist to help you out. They take in consideration your style, your size, your budget, and they just do the shopping for you. And you can order things when you want and how you want with no subscription required. Summer is here. Time to upgrade that closet. Get some of the clothing on that's, got a little more breathability. So why get it done by going out and doing the shopping yourself? Why not do it the smart way and the efficient way with Stitch Fix? And if you don't love something, you just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges, they're always free. So if you're ready to upgrade to style that makes you feel as good as you look, then get started today at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $20 off your first fix. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for a $20 off. stitchfix.com/MLB must redeem within 7 days of signing up. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's now also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. So to close things out today, I want to dip into some fan feedback and get some reactions from some of you Locked On Cardinals listeners about what you saw, what you heard last night with the Rickwood game, and anything else you guys have that has to do with our beloved Cardinals. Let's see. I almost said Redbirds there because this is a question about the Memphis Redbirds. Dan asked, any chance Jordan Walker gets called up soon? Was surprised they chose Victor Scott II over him for the Rickwood game. So Walker had a dinger last night, actually, for Memphis. Had a big night, went 3 for 4. So far in June, he's hitting .267 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. And at Memphis overall, he's at .267 with 3 home runs and 15 RBIs. So it took a little while for Jordan to kind of get going. You know, you're seeing the power show up here in the month of May or in the month of June. Is 3 home runs a whole lot of power? Not necessarily, but what are we really expecting out of Jordan Walker power wise? Like he's not like Giancarlo Stanton, even though he's the size of Giancarlo Stanton. He's not that guy though, who's swinging for the fences and is probably going to give you 40 bombs in a season when he's healthy. It doesn't feel like that's the kind of guy he is, which I'm okay with. You know, I would rather have a guy hitting between 280 and 300 with 20 home runs than a guy who's hitting 210 with 40 home runs. That's just me personally. We got one of those guys already in Nolan Gorman. We don't need another one. We don't need another one of those. So it's good to see the Jordans getting the ball in the air. Launch angles seem to be good. He's got 3 home runs this month. But I'm assuming that as far as what happened at Rickwood last night, it was more where they would rather Jordan play, like get his full game in and play at Memphis while Victor could come to Birmingham. He could be that defensive guy off the bench, add a little speed off the bench if needed, which Ali did, put him in the game, inserted him late on the defensive side. And again, the issue is when it comes to Jordan Walker, even when Jordan's ready, like when he's ready to come back and you're starting to see him become the guy that we saw in the second half last year, I don't think he's ready yet, but when it happens, which we assume it will, who are you benching right now? I mean, you're seeing what Brennan Donovan gives you in left field. Alec Burleson has been fantastic in right field. You know, defensively, I'm offensively is what I'm talking about. I mean, he hasn't been that bad defensively. Outside, he had some trouble in the game in Miami with throwing the runner out at home plate, but stuff happens. But you're not sitting his bat down. It's been one of your best ones on the team. Michael Ciani has been so valuable on defense in center field for this pitching staff. You've got Dylan Carlson, who's healthy and up on the team. Lars Nootbaar is going to be back at some point. Got to take that time with the oblique strain, but he's supposed to be back. So where does Jordan Walker fit in to this mix in the outfield here in 2024? I don't know. Now, the fact that he's a right-handed hitter, that helps his case because you're so lefty-heavy in the outfield. I mean, Donnie, Burley, and Ciani, all left-handed. Dylan Carlson, a switchy. Lars Nootbaar is left-handed. Like, you're very lefty-heavy out there. So, obviously, that's something that John Mozeliak has talked about, picking up a right-handed hitting bat that can also play some center field so that Ciani doesn't have to be out there all the time when left-handers are pitching. So, I mean, do you call Jordan Walker up instead of making a deal for somebody like that? Or do you let him continue to play out the season in Memphis to see if you can ever get him like back up to the level that you wanted him to be at, like he was at the the end of 2023 in that second half? So until he revs things up at Memphis or barring another injury in the outfield, I just don't see a path for him on this team right now. And it's not a horrible thing. It's just kind of a bummer that a guy that is such a top prospect, unfortunately, had a tough start to the year, and he's kind of stuck in Memphis at the moment until he proves he needs to be in the major league. So we'll have to wait and see. Still a long way to go. Some Twitter X reactions to last night's game, which I appreciate all of you guys sitting in with me while we watch the game together and chit chat there on Twitter X. So Austin says, I thought it was cool. My wife was like, what the hell is this 1950s crap? She wasn't aware of the theme of the game. I was like, well, because it's supposed to be. Yeah, when they did that split screen thing where they went black and white, where they put the filter on and it looked like a black and white game, and then they had the split screen of what was going on the mound and over at first, like that was really cool. Is it something I want them to do in telecasts all the time? I guess I can handle it. Not the black and white portion, but the little split screen thing. I guess it doesn't bother me that much. But it kind of reminded me of the old ESPN home run derby things. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them. The younger people won't remember that at all. But that's what it reminded me of, where they would have home run derby with the stars of Major League Baseball, and they'd have interviews with them while they're doing it. And it was just kind of like an exhibition for fun type of thing, and that's what the black and white stuff reminded me of last night when they put that filter on. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Nice little touch to what was happening last night. Terry says, it was a storybook night. I'm glad we won, but my gosh, the game was not the most important thing going on last night. The stories told, the folks recognized, the honor shown, the atmosphere, even the flyover. A great night and well done by all. By the way, Burleson sure seemed happy. Burley's happy a lot of times. But yeah, agree with you 100% there, Terry. It was well done and put together, to see Griffey and Bonds and then Willie Mays' son come out there beforehand, and the crowd to go wild for Willie. I wish I'd gotten a chance to see Willie Mays play. I wish that was something that I could have enjoyed, but he was much earlier than my time. But yeah, it was cool to see them honor a legend. Sad that he passed away before the game actually got played. But, I think they did really good with all the tributes and how they talked about him and stuff. So good stuff. Scott says, Bob Kendrick is the man with his voice. I could listen to stories all day too. Have to add it to the list if I ever go out to Kansas City. Have to start listening to his podcast, Black Diamonds. Yeah, Bob Kendrick, dude. I'll tell you what, first time I heard him, again, real quick, MLB The Show. Playing last year, and they did those Negro League storylines, and you play through, and they just give you the whole background about each player. Like Josh Gibson's in there, Satchel Paige is in there. Last year, it was geared more around Jackie Robinson. Who else is in it? Like there's so Willie Mays is obviously somebody's in it, but there's a ton of, they got a female Negro League player in there this year, which you get to learn about as well. So there's a bunch of them. I think he said there's going to be 10 total people that they did these storylines with, and it's fun and it's entertaining. You get to play the game and you learn a lot while you're watching and playing. So I've enjoyed it thoroughly. They did the Derek Jeter storyline this year, which was really cool. So kudos to MLB The Show for putting that together. I heard him say that there's a 3-year deal, so it looks like we're going to have them back again next year, which is fantastic. I love learning about this stuff. I think it's cool. I I know the Cardinals got screwed by the COVID pandemic when they were supposed to be a part of the second Field of Dreams, and that was a bummer. But I'm just really glad that they were chosen to be a part of this experience on Thursday night. I dug it. I think it's super cool, and I hope you guys liked it too. It seems like most of you really enjoyed it, and hopefully they have more things like this moving forward. I know the playing in certain areas can be kind of hit and miss, but 2 thumbs up. I think Major League Baseball and the Rickwood Field and the Negro League Hall of Fame and everything that was involved, the Giants, the Cardinals, everything that went into that game last night, I think they nailed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I hope you did too. All right, thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter, X, at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube to help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. We were less than 20 away last time I checked. So appreciate each and every one of you. You are the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I will see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.